Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Welcome back to all my returners, and hi to any newbies. It is so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while, and if you like what you see, give me a thumbie. They are free. So you have come back for another episode of Stitch Saturday, and today I am going to be showing you how to do the moss stitch. Now, just for reference purposes, I will be using US terminology because even though I am in the UK, I prefer the US terms. So as you can see, I have made a little sample here for you guys. And the beauty of the moss stitch is it is single crochets and chains. That is it. Another beautiful point is that it is completely reversible. It looks similar on both sides, and if you are looking for a stitch that makes a tighter fabric with less holes, the moss stitch may be something that you want to do. Now do bear in mind guys, patterns using a lot of single crochets will of course take you much longer because the stitches are so small, but it does make it super pretty. Now for the purposes of this tutorial, I have only done a solid colour, but if you were to change colour on every row, you would have a thing of beauty. Now, shall we get into the tutorial? So I'm just going to quickly pause, grab my bits and pieces, and I will be right back with you. Okay guys, so I am back. For this tutorial I am using a 4-weight or Aran yarn, and I am using my 5mm Clover and More. Now for your project you want to grab the weight of yarn and whatever corresponding hook you plan to use. I am literally just doing this for the tutorial, so I have just grabbed a scrap to demonstrate this for you. Now for the moss stitch you need a multiple of 2. So if you would like to chain whichever even number of stitches you need for your project, then please do go ahead. I'm only going to do a small swatch with you today, so just chain away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I have 12 here guys. I'm just going to do a few more. 13, 14, 15, 16. Now because it is a multiple of 2, you may want to leave yourself a few extra chains to be able to go back along the chain for your first row. You are in fact going to go into the 4th chain from the hook, so ignore the hook, the loop on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the stitch that you are going to be going into, and you are going to be going into that with a single crochet. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over through both. Now that acts as your first single and your chain space, and now your next single. Now we are going to chain 1. We are going to skip the next stitch and go into the next one, so not this one but this one, and we are going to pop a single in there again. So insert, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over through both loops. There is your single crochet, and we're going to repeat this all the way down the length of the chain. So chain 1, skip 1, and into the next pop a single crochet. So because this is a small stitch, it is really difficult to get a good camera angle for you, but literally chain 1, chain 1, skip the next stitch, and then in the next one we are going to pop a single crochet. There we go. Okay, so just continue on down the length of your chain, remembering single, chain one, skip one, single, chain one, skip one. Now you want to make sure that when you get to the end of this beginning chain that you do end with a single crochet like I am about to. There we go. So although I started with 16, I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And that is because a couple of the chains have worked as your single and your chain in between. So guys, let's get on to round 2. We are going to chain 2 because this acts as a single, this acts as the building up to get the height for the next row and the chain to go over this first single crochet. So chain 2, turn our work. We are going to ignore this first stitch because we already have a chain to jump over it, and we are going to find that first chain 1 space. In that chain 1 space we are going to put a single crochet, and again chain 1, skip the next single crochet, and into this chain space here we are going to pop our next single. So basically guys, where there is a chain we are now putting a single crochet, and where there is a single crochet on the row below we are chaining 1 and jumping over it. And that is literally what you are going to do for the whole entire project. We are alternating stitches and chains. Okay, there we have it. I'll do one more round with you and then we will call it a day. So chain 2, turn our work. Remember, ignore this first single crochet because we have a chain 1 already to skip over, and in that chain space here between the stitches, that is where we are going to pop our single crochet. So once you have done the setup row guys, you put a single in the chain space and you chain over the single from the row below. Now I hope that makes sense for you, and I'll walk you through the last few stitches. So I've put that single in the chain space. I am going to chain 1. I'm going to ignore the single from the row below, and in the next chain space, feel free to pull your work apart so you can see exactly where you are going. Ignore that single, and into the chain space you pop your next single. Okay, chain 1, and we're going to ignore this stitch from the previous row, and in the next chain space that is where we're going to put our single crochet. And finally we're going to chain 1, ignore that stitch from the previous round and pop your single in that space. And that guys, in a very brief tutorial, is how you do the moss stitch. So like I said, if you changed colour every row, you would have a real thing of beauty on your hands. Now it will mean a lot of ends and it is a lot more work, but sometimes it is worth it. Now the beauty of this moss stitch is, can you see the V's that are created by your single crochets? I just absolutely love that texture. Now, if I'm being completely honest with you, moss stitch is not one of my favourite stitches, purely because it takes so long. But if you have a special project that requires it, it really is worth all of that effort. So just to run through again, you need to chain a multiple in an even number plus an extra couple of chains on the end, so that when we go back down that chain, we have created our fake single and our chain one. So we're going to in that multiple, in the fourth chain from the hook, we're going to single, chain one, skip a stitch, single, chain one, skip a stitch, single, chain one, skip a stitch, single, all the way down to the end, making sure that at the end you end on a single crochet. You are then going to chain two, turn your work, and then you are going to ignore that first single crochet, and you are going to pop your single in the chain space. Chain one, the chain one lies over that single crochet, and you are going to pop a single in the chain space. Chain one, which hops over that single, and pop a single in that chain space. Work all your way along, chain two and turn, again ignoring the first single crochet. We have that chain two, one for height and one to skip over this first single, and we're going to put a single in the chain space. Chain one to hop over the single from before and pop another single in the chain space. So as long as you are now putting your stitches in the chain spaces and you are putting chain spaces over your previous stitches, you will end up with a beautiful moss stitch fabric like this one here. So I hope that was helpful. Please let me know down in the comments what you thought about this tutorial, anything that I could do different, and let me know, have you used the moss stitch before, and did this clarify any issues you had with it? Also feel free to put down stitch suggestions down in the comments of stitches you would like me to show you, and I will eventually get to them. I am compiling a list of stitches that people have requested, the moss stitch being one of them. So like I said, I hope that helped you guys. I hope that was clear and understandable, and until the next time, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones, and get some good quality crafting time in. I will see you in the next one or around the YouTube streets. Bye guys, love you.